Third grade, today we are going to put on the remaining pieces of our pig. Last week we made the body and we kept him nice and wet by putting him in a paper or plastic bag. So when you get him back today, he might be a little bit flat on one side from where he laid. That's okay. So we are going to work with our pig. We kind of want him at a little bit of an angle because he's sitting. So I want my piece at a little bit of an angle. So I'm going to tap, tap, tap him. So he sits on his own, but he's at an angle. This is my flat part right here. So I tapped him so that he was sitting flat on his own, okay? So he looks like this. Now, you're gonna get a little bit of clay today, and you have 4, 5, 6, you have 7 things to make, 7 things to score and slip. You have his 2 ears, his nose, and his legs. So for his legs, his legs and his nose are actually made the same way. You're going to take your clay and you're going to roll balls about the size of a quarter, maybe a little bit smaller than a quarter, like this. Okay, so I'm going to do 5 of them because I need 1 for the nose and 4 for legs. 3, 4, and remember, the more you work with clay, the more it dries out, so you really want to be careful. 5. Okay, so now I'm going to take the 2 biggest ones that I have and set those aside. I think those will probably be for the front or the back legs. I don't know. The smallest one, I'm going to do the nose. So I have a ball right now. You're going to want to make this into a cylinder. If you take it and roll it on its side, see how I'm just rolling with my finger on the side? And then you tap, and you tap, it will make a cylinder. I'll do this a couple more times if you didn't see that. So this is going to be his nose. I'm going to tap and tap, and then you have a little cylinder. To make his nose, you're going to figure out where you want it. So I'm going to put his nose about like right there. That's where he's sitting, so his nose will be looking up a little bit. You have to score and slip where his nose is going to go and the end of his nose. Then you're gonna stick it together, and then very carefully you're gonna use your fingers to weld it together. You can't just score and slip, you have to then weld it together. And this can be a little bit tricky because your fingers are probably better than mine because they're a little bit smaller. And you'll have fresh clay, so this will be pretty easy too, but you want to make that seam disappear if you can. There we go, starting to get it. So you see how on the top of the nose I've made the seam disappear? That's what you want to do. So you score and you slip and then you weld, and that makes it strong so it won't fall off during firing or during glazing. Okay, so there's his little nose. His legs, you're gonna do the same way. So I'm gonna create legs. I'm gonna roll out my ball, and then I need to see how tall they need to be. So I'm gonna measure, because his front legs come down off of the front of him. That's probably pretty good. There's one. Here's the other. You want them about the same because they're on the front of him. I'm going to tap, tap, tap. Okay, now for his legs, you want him to go down to the bottom of his body. So you're going to find out where I'm going to mark it, where I need to score and slip on each side, so I know. And then you're going to score right here and score right there. And then you're going to score the side of the leg that's going to stick to your pig. Okay? Then you're going to put it on. And you can't just stick it on. You've got to then weld this into his body so it stays. Okay? All right, there we go. So there's one leg welded in. Here's 2 legs, and you want it to go to the bottom of his body. There's 2 legs welded in. And this part's not too bad. The nose is probably the hardest part. Okay, so there are his little legs in the front. Score and slip that in. Weld it in, sorry. Not score and slip, weld. All right, then you're gonna do the same thing with his back legs. We're gonna roll it into cylinders. Now we want his back legs to come to the side of him like this. So I want them a little bit thinner. So they're a little bit longer. Oh, that didn't go very circle. Okay, then, so his back leg is gonna go off the back of him. I'm gonna score and slip right there. Score and slip right there. And you notice it's not drippy with water, it's just a little bit wet. Then you are going to weld, sorry, you're going to put it on and weld with the leg. There's one. Score and slip. Score and slip. And then weld on his leg. There we go. And then last but not least, so there's his little body. Okay, that cracks me up. There we go, so there's his little body, and then we need his ears. His ears are 2 smaller pieces of clay. Roll them into a ball. And then you're gonna make them into triangles. I'll show you, there's an easy way to do it. Okay, so maybe the size of a dime, maybe a little bit smaller. These are probably a little bit big, but that might be cute. Okay, so you're gonna put it here. You don't want to make them too thin or else they'll be impossible to attach. You're going to push down to make it flat and then push in to make it a triangle. Ta-da! Isn't that cool? I'll do it again. All right, see how I was smoothing out some of the little creases? Okay, so you have your ball. You're going to push down and then you're going to pinch to make the ear. I'm going to smooth a little bit of that out. My clay's getting a little bit dry. See, and then I've even got like the cute crease in his ear. I'm going to tap the bottoms to make them flat because I want to be able to score and slip really easily. And then I'm going to score and slip these right there and right there. All right, so there is, oh, I forgot to score and slip this. Gotta do that too. There is one. So there it is. I'm going to then weld it in, and this is probably harder than the nose. Weld it in so it doesn't, sorry, so it doesn't go anywhere. There we go, I got his little ear done. Weld it in. Okay, and then take the other one. I've already scored and slipped it, so now I'm going to weld it in. All right, so they won't go anywhere. Remember, you want to try and hide the seams if you can. The seams are where 2 things come together. Hide the seams. And I'm holding this guy really, really loosely. You want to be gentle with him because he is delicate, believe it or not. Okay, almost done, promise. You're going to take a pencil, give this guy 2 nose holes, just like that, and then give him 2 eyes, just like that. Okay, so he's got a nose and 2 eyes. The very last thing, in the very bottom of him, you're going to want to poke a pencil straight through. This creates a vent hole, so any air or any moisture, sorry, not air, but moisture that's in your pig can vent while I cook him in the kiln. If you don't have that, he'll explode. So you're gonna bring it to me. I will write your name on the bottom and then the year. I'll make sure you have a vent hole so he doesn't explode. Be careful, all you're creating today is the arms and legs. Start with clay balls and then roll them, score and slip, and you'll have a cute little pig, and he will sit like so when you are done. Okay, there we go.